The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza, Sam's Club, and PortCityDaily.com.
The race for top spot in the Mid-Eastern Conference is on. The division schedule underway. We had a big football game this past Friday night on Shipyard Boulevard as the New Hanover Wildcats beat Hoggard 34-21. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. Welcome to our newest edition of Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. Again, Wildcats went on the road, crosstown rival against Hoggard. The last 3 seasons, the winner of this game has gone on to win the Mid-Eastern Conference Championship, so it bodes well. The inside track goes to New Hanover, coming off the 34-21 victory. Coach Earl Smith joining me here on set, and Coach, big games all around for you. All 3 facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. You had plays throughout the game that really, propelled you to this big fourth quarter and a win.
Absolutely, Joe. What a battle. I mean, it's your classic Hoggard New Hanover battle, and proud of our guys to go over there and take care of business. It was, the turnover ratio was slightly in our favor, and I think that was huge.
We get Wiz Vaughn, a guy that's had a ton of yardage this season. He gets into the end zone twice. Jemias Williams, what a week he had. Selected to the Shrine Bowl earlier in the week. Comes away with 2 fumble recoveries on defense. Chris Taylor with a big 40-yard punt return for a touchdown. So as I said, all 3 facets of the game clicking for you on Friday.
Yeah, we were excited. We keep talking about, we want to block a punt every game. That happened. We want to have a defensive touchdown, which that happened. So that's starting to happen, and that's important as we move forward in the conference.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the 34-21 win. New Hanover right now at 3-3 overall and 1-0 in the conference.
Here's great pressure up front. Here's a tackle by Troy McCaskill. Gives him bad field position. Here's our first punt block, again by Troy. He and Jahan come off the edge. We do this every week just to make sure it's punted. Got a piece of it, and nice tackle there by Grant Daly to give us the football. Grant had a really big night. He was very consistent, and there he is on the pretty much a solo with help from Nas Brown.
Yeah, sheds the tackle right there and cleans it up in the backfield.
I think here Grant does it again on an ISO play, followed in there by Nas. And here we are. Here we start on our own 3. Great protection. Nice pass to Wiz by Blake.
And these drivers all Wiz on here.
And here's Wiz again on just a great run. Nice trap inside, sets up our first score. He had 91 yards rushing for the night, and here he is on our first touchdown. Great vision, some good blocks downfield. Got to keep it up.
A 20-yard reception, a 50-yard catch, and a 19-yard touchdown.
Here is a great break on the ball by sophomore Tyrone Hines. We've moved him to safety last week. Almost got it. Pick. Really helped. He moved in from New Jersey. Here's our first fumble. I'm pretty sure Grant causes it here. Hits the quarterback. And Jemias gets the fumble recovery, gives us the ball back. Here's your signature throw from Blake to Lamont Howard on the sideline. Great catch. Drags his toes.
Great concentration there by Lamont.
There's a great job of Blake stepping up, hitting Malcolm Hill, and also a good block by tight end Jairee Taylor after the catch on our screen.
Malcolm Hill had a couple of big catches throughout the course of this game.
He comes here later. And this is Jemias stuffing his trap, fullback trap, and he really played great the second half. He was getting double teamed quite a bit in the first half. Here's an option, another calls fumble, and Jemias gets that. I think Nas Brown calls that.
Here comes the big punt return, I believe.
Yes, it's a short punt, and what a heads-up play by Chris Taylor. I mean, you know, I would like to take credit for this, but I mean, he just observed it, took a look, said, hey, I can pick this up and score, and that's exactly what he did. Outrun a tackle there, and that just really changed the momentum. And like I said earlier, to get a defensive score is great. Here's that connection from Blake to Malcolm. Concentration, hung on to it. Again, gives us good field position. Comes back with a post route to Lamont Howard, who catches it and gets us down there here in the fourth quarter. And here's Keegan Santos to put us up by 2 touchdowns.
That was actually the first play of the fourth quarter right there, and that Santos touchdown.
Again, great job by the defense stuffing the counter tray there. Just a good push. And again, you know, Hoggard has some problems with their snaps, and we took advantage of it. And the good thing is, you know, on these situations, you know, we punched it in here and got another score, and that's important when you have those opportunities.
You get the big heads-up play by Chris Taylor to get you ahead for good. During that drive where Santos capped it off with the touchdown, Blake Walston, the quarterback, converted on 3 third-down conversions on that drive to keep the possession alive to set you up. Sophomore at times, looking at him, saying, you know, what do you see out there? He had 2 back-to-back interceptions in consecutive pass attempts, but then he rebounds that way and drives down the field, converts on 3rd down to set up the Santos touchdown.
Yeah, I think that was his first Hoggard game. Little jitters there, and he tried to force it. But, you know, I think he's learning every week. And, you know, again, just like the offensive line, they're getting better and better.
Back to work this week, Coach, as you take the win at 1-0 in conference, and back in the win column, back-to-back wins. New Hanover will play host to Laney on Friday, so a big one for you.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier. And, you know, Lenny's on a roll right now, playing really well, running the option, and that's something we're going to have to play very well on defense and do our job.
So back to practice for Coach Smith and the New Hanover Wildcats coming off the 34-21 win over Hoggard. It'll be New Hanover and Laney squaring off for top spot in the division coming up on Friday night at Legion Stadium. Thanks again to Coach for stopping by. We'll talk to him next week, and we'll continue Sports Roundtable right after this. Welcome back to Sports Roundtable. Thanks again to Coach Earl Smith for stopping by, highlighting the New Hanover Wildcats win over Hoggard this past week. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. Next up here in the second quarter of tonight's show is the head coach of the Laney Bucks, Ashad Yeoman. The Bucks are red hot as of late. Winners of 4 straight, coming off a big 46-0 shutout over South Brunswick. Imeke Watkins had over 180 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns in the first half of action. Jason's Billingsley also found the end zone twice in the win. It was all Laney from the opening kickoff in the 46-0 win over South. The Bucks now 2-0 in conference, 5-2 overall, have won 4 straight. Coach Yeoman joining us here on set this evening. And Coach, you got to be pretty happy with the performance in 3 straight weeks right now, 4 straight weeks.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Anytime you can get in that win column, I'm sure it makes things or life easier. So the kids have been doing a great job of practicing Monday through Thursday and then coming and showing up on Friday night. So
you did what you needed to do over the last couple of weeks. And let's get to the highlights first, and then we'll talk about the looming test coming up on later this week.
Sure. I started out on defense. This is the first play on D, and man, that's the heat-seeking missile right there. Came and sees that, coming up with a big stop. You know, we got out the field and got the offense the ball, and here's Sherrod on a nice big play on the first drive of the game. Did a great job of just, you know, finishing, keeping his feet moving and getting that extra yardage. That's big. Here's a big play here. We got Matt Scott coming up on the edge, but he didn't touch anybody. Imeke does the rest of the way. And we had some pretty good blocks, but it got called back. But a nice run and just set up this touchdown coming up here by Sherrod. Does a good job reading the option, gets upfield and finishes it into the end zone. So puts us up a score. Go back on offense again. Had a really good play here by Imeke once again. You know, seeing it, cutting to the outside, getting to the edge. And what I like to see there is Alfahim Walcott, man, that receiver blocking downfield the whole time, being unselfish, man. He's got a great mentality and great attitude and great personality. Enjoy being around him. And there's the heat-seeking missile again. Came and sees that with a nice play coming up on that jet sweep. You know, that was a big play for us. We hadn't seen that on film, and there it is, silent assassin. Ryan Dabrowski, big play there. That play took a little while to develop, so gave him a little time to get there. And then, unlike last week, reached his hand out, and that allowed that guy to tackle him. But not this particular time here. He's finishing to the edge. That's kind of a surprise to see that kid jump on his back there. I rarely see that, but testament to him and his work on the other side of the ball. And there's Justin Billings finishing it off into the end zone. Big score there to put us up a couple scores. And then special teams. You got to be good in all three phases. And luckily, Trayvon Green comes up with that big play, because that could have been a huge momentum swing for those guys, and it actually worked out for us. So there he is leading his blockers out in front, and the guys doing a great job of blocking and trying to get him into the end zone. We had a little stoppage and penalty there. And there's Sherrod throwing off his back foot. He's got a cannon for an arm. If he works on his mechanics, he can be great. And there's Alfahim Walcott, coming up with a big play there into the well, actually that one into the end zone. That was close though. And then there's Micah Hairston, another receiver there. Fruits of their labor of blocking hard for Meek and getting those guys the ball. Got to be able to run the ball and pass the ball in this league to be competitive. And there's Jason Billingsley again, helping set up another touchdown early in that first half. And then here we are on defense again. Big fumble here, scoop, almost scored there. That's again Trayvon Green coming up with a big play for us, being in the right place at the right time and working the scoop drill. And there's Timothy Mills, junior for us, a defensive lineman. He's been doing a great job, coming in and supplementing some of those guys, giving them a breather and being effective as well. And then there's Saquad Yeoman on a big play for a tackle for loss on the swing pass. Again, that's something we hadn't seen on film, and great job by them. And there's Austin Nally, one of our fullbacks. We lined him up as a tailback and did an awesome job of filling in and giving Amika a breather. We call him Sari Banders. We like to joke around with him. He likes to juke and cut around in practice. We got to get him going more downhill. And then that right there is Khalil Tucker, one of our junior linebackers. Again, another kid that we're looking to step up into that role and do some big things for us.
A couple of things I noticed from the highlights, Coach. More and more throughout each week, you're getting different guys the ball, different guys making plays on defense, rather than kind of the variety type of players that we've been talking about through the early weeks. We're getting different guys the ball, different guys doing making big plays for you.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that's a testament to those kids and the work that they've been putting in, and it's showing up on Friday night. So that's big. With
that said, going back to the quarterback, Sherrod Sidbury, it looks like he's really starting to feel the option right now. Saw him couple of quarterback keepers that took up for some big yardage, so you got to be happy with his play.
Oh yeah, and it's tough. That option is a quick play, so you got to be able to make that decision right away. And he's been doing a good job so far. We just got to keep it going.
The more and more I think you take snaps, the more and more you see those reads, the easier it becomes for you.
Yes, sir. Repetition. 1,000 reps, 10,000 reps to perfection.
Well, you're right where you want to be at this point in the season. 5-2 overall, 2-0 in the conference. Big test at Legion Stadium coming up for you on Friday night. What's the key here through the next couple of days of practice to to pull out or at least be competitive and hopefully be in it in the end to pull out a win?
Just do what we do. Make sure we practice Monday through Thursday, and then show up on Friday. So, nothing to change so far. The recipe has been successful for us, so we just got to keep doing it.
I know you probably haven't seen too much, or you're probably already looking into some of the film for New Hanover. What are some of the things that maybe they put, some of the challenges that they bring to your football team?
I don't know if we have enough time for that, but they've got some good players over there. It's too many to name. So. We just got to make sure that we got our lineman assignment and we got to execute. All
right, 2 unbeaten teams will square off in the Mid-Eastern Conference coming up on Friday. Coach, look forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Coach Ashad Yeoman, the Laney Bucks, winners of 4 straight, 2-0 in the conference, 5-2 overall, coming off the 46-0 win over South Brunswick. It's the half here on tonight's edition of Sports Roundtable. We'll catch up with the coaches from Hoggard and Ashley coming up after this quick break. High school sports fans, welcome back to Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. Thanks again to Coach Yeoman stopping by at the end of the first half. Third quarter of action getting underway here on tonight's show. A quick plug for some of the things that I do throughout the week at PortCityDaily.com. Each week we have a highlight of some of the local football players playing college football. Before I introduce my next guest, Coach Craig Underwood of the Hoggard Vikings. Hoggard has plenty of guys playing Division D1 football this season, including Terry Caldwell at Ole Miss. Hunter Louthan is a freshman at Davidson getting some playing time, and Julius Reynolds, a guy that we've had here on set a couple of years ago, he plays linebacker safety for North Carolina A&T. So each week I follow some of the local high school football players doing things at the college level. Look for that story at portcitydaily.com. Coach Underwood joining me here on stage. Coach, tough loss obviously on Friday, was at the game. Special teams really plagued you, and I thought, you're kind of unable to get the run game going in the second half like it did in the first half.
All right, yeah, I tell you, to win a game like that, you've got to execute in all three phases, and we've been solid in special teams this season. So credit to New Hanover, they played well in all three phases, and we came up a little short, so we got to get back to work and really emphasize those details.
Offensively, again, you moved the ball in that first half, got the ball into the red zone, but some turnovers. They plagued you throughout the season. They did again on Friday.
Yeah, you can't put the ball on the ground. You can't put the ball on the ground in any game, but especially in one of that magnitude. And we fumbled on the 8-yard line going in. Another fumble after a big defensive stop. That was an opportunity to seize momentum. You can't do those things and win big football games.
Josh Jones had a couple of scores for you. Rashad Wallace, I thought, looked good. Let's look at some of the highlights, because there were some highlights from the game despite the final score.
Yeah, certainly. These first half highlights. I was a little late putting the clip together. So here's Josh Jones on our first drive. Just a big third down conversion. Again, he's become as much of a weapon in the run game as he is in the pass game. So. First drive, we moved the ball well. Don't get all the way in, but we are able to move. Here's Rashad. These are back-to-back first down runs. Over on the defensive end, Hanover's perimeter run game is really strong, something we were concerned about and placed a big emphasis on. And Cullum Crowley really had a big night helping in that defense. Here's Landon Romano. Landon had been out with an injury, comes out, gets a big sack. Forces the ball out there, so great job by Landon. He had a big night.
Yeah, he had 2 sacks in the game, I think.
Yeah, Landon and Quayshawn Stoops, 2 guys. This is a young receiver another one's been out on injury. We've had the injury bug this year, but named C.J. Pipkin. He's going to become a bigger part of our attack. Big third down catch there. Here you see Tony Allen, again, just a great thing to be able to have that 1-2 punch of Rashad and Tony. Each have their own running style. Our special teams execution wasn't up to par for the whole night, but here's one punt where we were able to pin them inside the 10. Something we work on regularly. Was getting down. So this is Bryant Sasser after long snapping, getting down and down the ball inside the 10. Opportunity to pin them here. Had 2 solid first and second down plays, and then they get out on third down. You got to win third down, especially when you got them pinned back. So Keon Bradley at corner. Came up and made a great stop there. Those quick screens that New Hanover does, it's dangerous. An athlete getting the ball in space, and felt like the guys did a good job with that all night long. Here we see Trey Hauser, again, continuing to become a bigger and bigger part of our offense, but on jet sweep. Just get an athlete out in space and let him do what he does. Chet Raddick and some of those guys blocking for him on the perimeter as well. Rashad, getting sweep around the edge. Again, really had some good success running the ball in the first half. A little speed option here. Good job with the perimeter blocking. But again, you got to do it for 4 quarters to win these football games. And the opportunity to win was there. As you say, you were at the game. It's a little closer than what the score indicates, I believe. But Rashad breaking some tackles and getting us in position there. Back on the defensive end, Nathan Frizzell bringing some pressure. Landon Romano, again, tackle for loss. They had some success in the running game as well early, and felt like we were able to largely shut it down afterwards until, again, a couple turnovers kind of got us on our heels. Again, able to clog in the middle. That's Christian Holler and Quayshawn Stooks. I'll tell you, Holler's really coming along as a Mike linebacker. Here's a tip ball by Reese Moulton to Isaiah Kemp. He's another sophomore we've got playing. We don't typically have sophomores, but I'll tell you, we've got 3 this year that are fairly big-time contributors, and he's certainly one starting at corner for us. He's got a chance to be pretty special. Austin Edwards leading the way, Big Patrick Morrison, giving us some blocking there. inside for the score.
So Isaiah Kemp gets the turnover. Reese Moulton, I believe, had that tip and also had an interception.
Reese Moulton got an interception as well. Both those guys, as well as Keon Bradley and Justin Berger. I mean, I felt really a strong night in the secondary. You know, New Hanover's been putting up big numbers throwing the ball, and we were able to limit that. They had a couple big passes in there, but we kind of taught our guys all week, you know, they've got that capability.
Right.
We've got to tackle them, you know, and force them to continue to finish the drive. And that was something I felt like our kids responded well to.
Chet Raddick had a touchdown catch in that ball game as well in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Some of the things that you can take from this game, obviously correctable things, as we've kind of been talking about throughout the course of this season. You get a bye week here to clean up some things. I have a intuition that you might be working on some more special teams this week, and I know you do it plenty already, but it's about, you know, securing some of these things up, and you need to do these things to get wins.
Oh, certainly. I mean, anytime you don't get it done in a game like that, I think the first place you got to look is at yourself, and we have placed a big emphasis on special teams, which I am in charge of, and you know, I've gone back over the weekend and kind of revisited what we were doing and some ways to help clean that up, as well as the other details that we got to keep getting better at.
Well, back to work this week. You'll have Friday off, or at least you won't play this week, whether the games are played on Thursday and Friday, and then a big road test coming up against Laney. So,
right.
you know, back to work for you.
That's it.
All right, Coach Craig Underwood, thanks for stopping by, sir. And we'll talk to him next week. I believe he'll have some players joining us on set for next week's edition of Sports Roundtable. We'll take our final break on tonight's show. Ashley head coach Jeff Turner coming up after this quick break. Welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's edition, our latest edition of high school football across New Hanover County, with interviews along with the four coaches from the county and the Wilmington schools. Mid-Eastern Conference play underway, but the Ashley Screaming Eagles played in a non-conference game in Monkey Junction. It came up on the wrong end of a 24-6 setback to North Brunswick. They're now 2-3 overall, 0-1 in the conference. Coach Jeff Turner joins me for the fourth quarter of tonight's show. And Coach, a couple of touchdowns called back due to flags, questionable calls maybe. Jacob Reed gets into the end zone. Alex Brooks, I believe, forced the fumble or got a fumble recovery for you to set up the TD. Overall, looking back at the film from this past Friday night, what'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very frustrating game, to be quite honest with you, and that's really the only way I can say it. I thought they were questionable calls. It really could have been momentum changers, really 2 touchdowns. And we are looking into that, but at the same time, we need to get better in certain areas and have guys step up more. We have a lot of guys injured. I thought the effort was good for the kids. You know, they're trying real hard, but sometimes trying real hard isn't good enough. So we really need to strain more and pay attention to little details a little better also.
North Brunswick has, you know, some pretty athletic guys on their team. A couple of guys broke loose for some big touchdown runs. That kind of the difference in the game?
Yeah, you know, defensively we'd hang in there, and then you know, lose our discipline on a couple plays. And you know, they have the state track winner up there, and if you let him have daylight, you know, you're not going to catch him. So that was sort of the problem there.
All right, let's look at some of the highlights
Okay.
From the Ashley setback this past week against North Brunswick.
Yeah, you know, defensively, like I said, you know, you have to be consistent. You have to play all the time. And that's the thing on everything. And defensive football, good pick by Robinson there. And, you know, I think, you know, the consistency and the understanding of the grind and finishing the games. So we'll get on it. We'll be on Alabama drill this afternoon and get after it there. That's Ibn Murphy playing with speed. Little offense right here. I believe this is sure. I think we ran speed option this side. Actually, a nice first down pass to Caleb Parker. Nice throw by Jacob Reed. That was a first down. Fumble right here.
What defense did Barbera suit up for you?
No, he didn't even suit up. We're missing about 3 of those kids on defense and about 3 on offense.
So you're plugging some holes on that defensive end for sure.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and you know, hopefully Joe was getting an MRI today, and we're just not sure what's going to happen right here. Nice little throw and catch right there for some yardage. You know, we were down in the red zone. We made a lot of good plays come out in the second half. We brought it in the end zone and some flags. Here's right here, and one of the you see the back judge back there, and here Caleb gets it, and he gets it into about the 20, 25, and there he is back in the thing, and there goes the flag. He dropped it a little late there, and we were a little frustrated by that, and there was no number given to us who got called for holding, and so it was really that's what was happening a lot that game, and you never want to point to official, but it was frustrating on that part.
Yeah, no one even in the vicinity of that.
No, and that happened on two other times. Touchdown, Caleb Parker getting a lot of space here, really getting down there, and the next one right here, I believe we get a touchdown call back right here. Maybe it's not this one. That's another nice run by Caleb. You know, sort of stretching it and making a good cut here and there. You know, and then you know we go into drive. This is right at the half, getting us up to be 10-8 or 10-6, but big momentum builder. And this is, I believe, a touchdown. And this is another late call. It doesn't come in because we know it's late because it doesn't see that right there, and it comes in late again. That was a touchdown call back, and he was, you know, we're getting from the spot foul, and you know, we just like to. It's nice to have the kids determine who's going to win, sort of that old basketball rule, and I don't ever like to point to refs, but it was not a professionally called game by our head referee, the white hat there.
Guy we see a couple of times through the highlights, Caleb Parker. It's his second game back. He looked a lot more comfortable back there with the football in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we didn't have any 3 and outs. We just kept driving, and then all of a sudden we get hit with a penalty, and we end up 2nd and 25, and it just killed us all game. And you know, it was very, very frustrating on that part of it. And you know, we have to clean up that stuff and somehow not let that affect us. And if it's 2nd on 25, then figure out a way to get 30 yards. There's a touchdown by Jacob Reed, sort of finds the zone inside. And
you're able to get 7 points off the turnover right there, and you know you make a couple other plays, or you know some things go your way, and it's a different outcome.
Yeah, it was, and I've been doing this for a long time, and it's frustrating to see that happen. And it's very frustrating. So I can't say anything more about it.
Well, I know the guys are still giving some good effort out there despite some of the things that you're going up against, whether it be injuries or some of the questionable calls throughout that game. You're going to go up to Topsail this week and try to get the W in Hampstead, whether the game's played Thursday, Friday, Monday, who knows, but you got to be ready to go against Topsail.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to get some guys back, some guys healthy. I think offensively, I think we may have one of our tackles back, which we need. And, you know, I think Caleb's getting more comfortable after losing Bradley. He was operated on last Friday, and I heard he did good. That it was a successful operation. But we just got to keep plugging the kids. You know, they're the best ones about this. Is when you see the kids. It's some of the other distractions that sometimes you know put a bad thing on it.
Well, let's get back to work this week, Coach. Let's go up to Hampstead and get a win.
Okay, we're going to try to do that. We appreciate it.
Ashland head coach Jeff Turner wrapping up tonight's edition of Sports Roundtable. Tune in again next week as we highlight some of the football coverage from across New Hanover County. For New Hanover County Schools TV, I'm Joe Katz. Until next time.